Transformers are back. After the success of the first films about the war between Autobots and Decepticons, directed by Michael Bay, the franchise has been going through tough times. The latest installments lowered the quality bar despite trying to increase scale and special effects while getting tangled in their own chronology. Box office earnings for each new movie kept decreasing, yet they still remained profitable. Because of this, the franchise isn't being canceled, but is instead undergoing a soft reboot and crossover with G.I. Joe under Steven Spielberg's leadership. Today, we'll take a look at what's happening with this beloved franchise, discuss the next installment's release date, and explore why it might revive the entire series. Get comfortable. It's going to be one hell of a ride. One major reason for the decline in Transformers' box office success is audience fatigue from repetitive action-heavy storytelling. While Bay's films were undeniably packed with epic visuals, critics and viewers eventually noticed that the plots became formulaic. The wow factor faded over time, leading to a gradual loss of interest, a natural consequence of such repetition. In response, Paramount decided to reboot the series with Bumblebee. This film took a fresh approach, focusing on a smaller, more emotional story rather than blockbuster excess. Despite scaling back the chaos, Bumblebee earned positive reviews, proving there was still life in the franchise. However, the very next step reverted back to grandiose spectacle. Rise of the Beasts promised innovation, but ultimately stumbled due to stiff competition at the box office and rushed CGI work. In the end, all they left us with was a tease for some future crossover, and then silence. Both franchises belong to Hasbro and boast extensive toy lines, multiple films, and animated series. If anyone deserves a crossover, it sure as hell isn't Dominic Toretto. Those Fast and Furious folks run on pure nitro fuel, not military-grade gadgets or alien robots. But blending Transformers and G.I. Joe? It's an idea that's been floating around for years. That said, executing this concept isn't easy. You've got tangled timelines that look like spaghetti junction and tonal differences between blockbusters and grounded action. Transformers, especially in Bay's version, are massive spectacles filled with destruction and epic battles. These bots live in a world where giant machines have become part of everyday life. It's like New York City meets apocalyptic mayhem. Meanwhile, G.I. Joe, or Cobra Strike, depending on where you're from, leans toward military action with espionage twists and grounded storytelling. Their stories are rooted in reality, which makes merging them into one cohesive universe no walk in the park. Logic, my friend, will be the hardest thing to keep intact. Additionally, fans of both franchises may feel disappointed if the crossover fails to preserve the unique traits of each. Balancing both sides without overloading the plot is crucial. This might explain why Paramount hasn't rushed into making an official announcement yet. Despite these challenges, the crossover's potential exists. Uniting two universes can bring fresh twists and new perspectives to both franchises. Especially since in the final scene of Rise of the Beasts, we even saw how characters could interact. Currently, Paramount is working on a shared film rather than another numbered sequel. Its exact place in the timeline remains unclear. There are essentially two options. Either the story takes place in the 90s as a direct continuation of Rise of the Beasts, keeping Noah Diaz at the center, or it jumps to another decade, which has been common practice for the Transformers franchise. This could tie events after Bay's trilogy, telling a standalone story, or after all existing films. However, whichever route writers choose, they'll need to untangle the convoluted chronology. Even hardcore fans struggle to make sense of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Additionally, fans of both franchises may feel disappointed if the crossover fails to preserve the unique traits of each. Balancing both sides without overloading the plot is crucial. This might explain why Paramount hasn't rushed into making an official announcement yet. Despite these challenges, the crossover's potential exists. Uniting two universes can bring fresh twists and new perspectives to both franchises. Especially since in the final scene of Rise of the Beasts, we even saw how characters could interact. Currently, Paramount is working on a shared film rather than another numbered sequel. Its exact place in the timeline remains unclear. There are essentially two options. Either the story takes place in the 90s as a direct continuation of Rise of the Beasts, keeping Noah Diaz at the center, or it jumps to another decade, which has been common practice for the Transformers franchise. This could tie events after Bay's trilogy, telling a standalone story, or after all existing films. However, whichever route writers choose, they'll need to untangle the convoluted chronology. Even hardcore fans struggle to make sense of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Another intriguing aspect is the recently released animated film Transformers. 1. Officially a prequel to Michael Bay's movies. It effectively disregards Bumblebee, making it a soft reboot alongside Rise of the Beasts, with little connection to other films in the series. To avoid unnecessary conflict with the fanbase, Paramount will likely continue developing stories set in the 90s before the original Bay films. Interestingly, some Autobots were initially planned to appear in the third G.I. Joe movie, but those plans were shelved. Now there's no turning back. The franchise must either fully reboot or move forward with this massive crossover event. We'll have to wait for the studio to share more details. Perhaps even an entire roadmap for their cinematic universe. Who knows? Maybe even the Fast and Furious franchise will get involved, and Optimus Prime will join the family. Jokes aside, work on the screenplay's key plot points is already underway. However, the project recently lost its director. Stephen Capel Jr., who directed Rise of the Beasts, was initially set to return for the sequel. Plans included making a second Rise of the Beasts film, but those fell through. Capel had been attached to the crossover for several years, only to step away months ago. Rumors suggest he might join I Am Legend 2, though nothing's confirmed beyond Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan being involved. For now, the Transformers X G.I. Joe crossover remains stuck in drafts without a director. But fear not. Paramount insists Steven Spielberg himself will serve as executive producer. Given his track record, failure isn't really an option here. He's known for assembling top-tier teams, so expect fireworks when this baby finally hits theaters. So here's the kicker. Technically speaking, focusing too much on human characters while pushing Transformers to the background could be a critical mistake. Past films have proven that placing people front and center risks overshadowing what made these bots iconic in the first place. Fans want epic battles, emotional stakes, and yes, some good old-fashioned chrome-plated chaos. A recent animated film took one of the boldest leaps from the franchise in years by completely cutting out humans altogether. This story wasn't about Earth or its inhabitants. It was all about life on Cybertron. It followed Optimus Prime's rise as a leader, showcasing his journey before he became the symbol of hope we all know today. Despite zero human characters, the movie delivered powerful emotions, compelling arcs, and moments that truly resonated with viewers. The message? Sometimes, letting the machines take center stage is exactly what the Doctor ordered. Interestingly enough, plans once existed to include Autobots in the third G.I. Joe movie, but those ideas were shelved. Now it seems there's no turning back. The franchise either needs a full reboot or something massive, a crossover event so grand it redefines everything fans thought they knew. There's simply no middle ground anymore. With each passing year, expectations grow higher, timelines become more convoluted, and audiences demand fresh perspectives. If Paramount plays their cards right, this collaboration could breathe new life into both universes. But screw it up? Well, let's just say history has shown us how quickly franchises can crash and burn. So mates, thanks for sticking around till the end. You've been absolutely fantastic. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Transformers and G.I. Joe, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. We promise not to spam your feed, just pure gold like this right here. And hey, while you're at it, why not check out our next thrilling analysis? We're breaking down the hottest new movies hitting theaters soon. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Cheers, fam. Until next time, stay sharp, keep those lads entertained, and remember, every great story deserves another chapter. Smash that bell icon, and we'll see you soon.